Welcome back, everyone. Back in the shop, working on these liner locks. We've got to grind the blades. We've got the liners, handles, everything finished. It is time to grind all of the blades, get them working good, get everything cleaned up, and we'll have these finished and get this liner lock series completed. I know you're probably ready. These have been blockbuster videos, by the way. And if you're anything like me, when you're working on a project, there's a whole lot more goes into it than just making the thing. You've got materials, measurements, steps, time spent, and multiple projects going on at one time. Well, that's where today's sponsor comes in, Shop Traveler Pro. Shop Traveler Pro is designed to keep all of that information organized into one place. You can create a project and track your time and materials, build estimates for clients, and even keep a schedule for the work you've got coming up. One of the features I really like is the library. You can save your steps, materials, and models for projects that you build repeatedly. So instead of reinventing the wheel every time you build something, you've got that information right there when you need it. There's also a community side where collectors can follow public bills and you can collaborate with other makers on projects. The app also has project reports and time studies so you can review where your time goes and adjust to make process improvements. Once a project is finished, you've got the ledger where you can keep track of all completed projects, run final reports. All your information input in the app works to help you reach your maximum efficiency. A build guide describing the different sections of the app is a ready reference for new users. One thing to know before you get started, you'll need Expo Go to run the Shop Traveler app. It is planned to be available on iOS and Android app stores in the near future. The maker account will be a paid $5.70 a month or $57 a year. If you're a maker who wants to keep better track of your projects, materials, time, and processes, check out Shop Traveler Pro. Now, full disclosure, I've been using this app for a little while through the development, and I really like it. I really like having something I can track my builds, especially costs, my time, and all of that, and it helps me to price things too. Keeps track of materials and things like that. I do multiple projects, as you know. So I hope this may help some of you out there and make your life a little better in the shop. Now let's get back to the build. First thing I'm gonna do is get me some center marks here, and I've got a homemade scribe that I use. I've got a starting point there. I know not to grind beyond. I just put me a center mark in here. And then I'll take it, mount it to a bar here like this. And it's just so I can hold it. I like to grind. I don't want to put it in the folder and grind it. You can, but I don't want to. Now I'm going to take them over and grind them on a 10-inch wheel to give us a nice little hollow ground blade. right, so once I get my rough bevel established, this is with a 50 grit, use 36 or whatever. I get my plunge lines pretty close. I'll straighten those out as I go up. Like with my next grit at 120, I'll try to get those square where I want them, and they're pretty close. Then I come in here and color it. I just use a marker. You can use Dicam or whatever, but this is very cheap and it works just fine. I do that, I color that bevel so I can see previous scratches. As I go up in grit, I do it every time. Then I come in here, and where I had it colored on the edge is I go ahead and knock that color off of there so I can see the shiny reflection of the edge back at me. I can still see my scribe mark. It doesn't cut it off just quite, But I grind down with my rough bevel. I leave about 20 thousandths each side, so I've got about a 40 thousandths edge here. And I will finish that edge as I go up in grits. When I get to a 220, I'm gonna be pretty close to my final edge, and we'll take it from there. But you can use a jig or whatever, but you have to remember when you're hollow grinding or any kind of grinding, just keep your elbows tucked and move slowly and precisely. But the main thing is good, smooth, even movement and keeping your elbows close to you where you can control it. It's not much difference with a jig, but if you have a jig, use it, and don't let anybody discourage you from that. Nothing wrong with it at all. I just like to do it this way. It's the only way I do them. It's quicker for me than setting up all that stuff, but I'll use one if I have to. So now I'm gonna go ahead and cut all these up, my 50, and then start moving up to 120. I've got a mark at the top of the blade to mark the top of the bevel where I like to stay and be consistent with all of them and go from there. Before I move on to the 120 grit belt, which is next, I got them all rough ground. Well, what I like to do is go to my surface plate and finish my flats. I like to get them finalized. They're pretty close as far as clean, but I still have some left to do here. And I do it now because if I do it after the final belt, then I could screw up some of my lines here. And I don't want to do that. Now I will get on them a little bit there at the end, but get most of it right here, what's left. All right, before I go to the final grit, I usually take them up to 600 grit, sometimes 400 grit. Just depends on how much sanding I want to do. But one thing I want to mention is in between each grit, how I maintain real crisp lines on these blades, on folder blades, is in between each grit. Just when I take them off, change out, hit them a couple times on that lap plate and keeps them crisp, keeps your lines from being overly washed out. I try not to wash them out anyway. But I also, before I finish my final grit, is I make sure my plunging lines are even and square. I look at the tip, make sure the tip exits the center of the blade. You're just looking for overall symmetry. The height of your grind lines, that's why I put a mark up here. I want to see symmetry everywhere. I mean, that's what a collector's going to look at, and that's what your customer expects. He wants, quality made product. So now I'll go and finish grinding these out, and I will start the little details of hand sanding, of course, and some detail work on the lock faces to make them operate real smoothly. And we'll start cleaning these things up, getting them ready to box. All right, I think we got them done, folks. All but sharpening. I think they come out pretty good. This is the one with the inlay. Of course, I'll have close-ups here for you. I've got the mammoth and the Damascus blade. So these two are on washers, and the mammoth is on bearings. They operate good, locks holding, and they just need a good sharpening. And we'll be good to go. But hey, I wanted to ask you a favor. If you would, it would help me out tremendously. I get a lot of questions, and I don't get them in the video comments. They come to my Facebook, or I don't even go to Instagram anymore where they got me locked down, but I've went in there and saw tons of questions. But if you would, if they're about the video or something I did in the video, ask it in the video. That would help me, help the algorithm. It shows interest. At least it's a comment, you know, and it'll help you. I really appreciate that. Ask your questions in the comments of the videos. That's all I ask. But I hope you got something out of this. I want to thank my patrons, and we're moving on to another project in the next video.